Hi, I'm 𝐲𝐫𝐿 from 𝐷𝐺A. In my previous videos, I've shown you that interest rates don't move randomly. They move in response to global conditions and they cycle. But here's what people ask me next. What actually causes those spikes? What made rates jump from near zero in 2020 to 3.7% in 2023? The answer is simple. Inflation. And here's the thing, inflation doesn't just affect prices, it drives the entire cycle. It drives rates, it creates the uncertainty you feel, and it directly affects your property decisions. So today, I want to show you exactly how this works. Let's go. In 2022, several things happened at once. China was under strict COVID lockdowns, factories stopped producing, global supply dried up. As for the Russian-Ukraine war, energy and food supplies were disrupted, oil and wheat prices spiked. At the same time, there was a pent-up demand. Governments had given out stimulus, people had money to spend, but supply couldn't keep up. Supply chains broke, containers were stuck, shipping delay incurred costs. Put all of this together, less supply, more demand, energy shocks, broken chains, and you get inflation. That's not a mystery, that's cause and effect. And here's the key point, this wasn't just Singapore, this was global. So the question is, if inflation is global, what can Singapore do? Most countries like the US respond mainly by rising interest rates. The Federal Reserve raises rates, people spend less, prices stabilize. But Singapore does something different. We manage our currency. And here why it works. Singapore imports most of what we consume. When we strengthen the Singapore dollar, those imports become cheaper. Cheaper imports equal to lower prices in our shop. At the same time, the government supports households through CDC vouchers, utility rebates, and GST offsets. Yet, Singapore is also continuously strengthening its economic resilience, developing manufacturing, finance, and technology sectors. This matters because a strong currency helps manage inflation. So Singapore doesn't just follow what the Fed does. The MAS makes independent decisions based on our conditions. This is why our interest rate movements, while influenced by the US, can differ in magnitude and timing. What does inflation really mean for you? Your money buy less over time? Your salary stays the same? Your expenses go up? Your savings lose purchasing power? But here's the interesting part. Not all assets respond the same way to inflation. Some loses value, some adjust, some actually protect wealth. That's what we need to understand. Let me show you the real numbers. Look at 2022. Inflation jumped to about 6%. In 2023, it stayed high around 5%, but now it's moderating. That's good news. But the challenge? We are not in a stable environment. There are geopolitical tensions right now, like Iran, South China Sea, US-China friction. Energy disruptions could happen. Supply chain could shock again. So we are not in everything is settled. We are in conditions are improving, but risks remain. From 2022 until today, prices went up cumulatively 9% in total. That's what we are dealing with. Before we look at this, let me explain something simply. Both lines start at the same point, 100. That doesn't mean they are the same. It just allows us to compare how much each one has moved over time. Here's what's interesting. From 2022 onwards, inflation went up 9%. According to URA's Private Property Price Index, property went up 23.8%. Property didn't just survive the inflation spike, it moved ahead. And why? 3 structural reasons. Number 1, land scarcity. Singapore's land is limited, we can't build more. Number 2, control supply. The government regulates land releases, supply is managed. And number 3, policy intervention. Cooling measures prevent excessive speculation. Singapore has a free market economy, but its property system is highly managed, and that's exactly why property in Singapore behaves differently from other assets and other cities. When inflation rises and uncertainty increases, property maintains value, and that's structural. Here's what matters. During 2022 to 2024, most assets got hit. Stocks fell, bonds lost value, savings got eroded. But property in Singapore? Property moved 23.8% while inflation was only 9%. Why? Because property is one of the few assets that doesn't just survive inflation, it protects against it, not through speculation, through structure. Land is limited, supply is managed, policy is protective, the function is real because you live in it. So when the system is turbulent, property maintains value. This is why property positioning matters, not for gambling, for wealth protection. Instead of asking, will property prices go up? Ask, how do I position myself in property to protect my wealth? Because property doesn't reward participation, property rewards precision. Get it right and you will have stability. Get it wrong and you miss the one asset that actually protected wealth when everything else was volatile. Here's the full picture. In 2022, inflation spiked. Central banks had to respond. The Fed raised rates aggressively. Singapore's MAS made independent decisions using currency management. That's the 3.7% peak you learned about. But property in Singapore moved 23.8%. Why? Because our economy is structured differently. Our land is scarce, our market is managed. Property didn't just survive, it moved ahead. Today, inflation is moderating, rates are easing, but geopolitical risk remains. We could see another shock or continue easing, we don't know. But here, what you do need to know. Don't predict where rates go next. Instead ask, where are we in the cycle? What are the actual conditions? What are the right moves for me? That's positioning. In my next video, I will show you exactly how to do that with a simple framework that turns this understanding into action. No pressure, no rushing, just clarity. I'm 𝐲𝐿𝐴 from 𝐷𝐴. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.